Hey guys, I wanted to make a response video because I wanted to make a response to my response video because I was fortunate enough to get trolled today by Alternate History Hub's fan base. I don't know if they're actually his fans or if he sanctioned any of this, but I did want to make a response to these fans. I'm actually going to give them credit because that video, I'm actually going to give them, props because that particular video I wasn't happy with. I wasn't happy with the video that I made. I put it up because I just felt like, what the heck? Let me just put this video up. I made it. I was tired. I didn't eat breakfast. I was just kind of like going through the motions when I made that video. But I wanted to make it so bad that I just put out a subpar video. And so today, I actually took notes, and I'm going to actually go through my points individually. I'm going to try to make a quick video that I'm going to go through point by point. And then I'm going to go through my trolls and actually look at them live and talk you through the type of insightful comments I get, because I think that'll be fun. So let me just start by saying that Alternate History Hub, I ain't got nothing against this guy. I haven't watched any of his other videos. The only video I've ever seen was What If Africa Was Never Colonized? Because look, I'm black, I'm from Africa, I'm Nigerian, so I thought, maybe this will be an interesting little thought experiment. But when I saw it, I was very disappointed for various reasons. And the main reason being that I didn't feel like it was what it said it would be, an alternate history hub. How are you an alternate history if the alternative is exactly like the current history? That's not an alternate history. It was not a creative thought experiment. He didn't dig very deep in order to to come up with an alternate history. So what I'm going to do right now is do his job better than he did. And if any of his trolls want to come by, if you have any comments to leave, how about you dissect my points line by line and give some intelligent feedback, as opposed to just trying to insult my character and insult my channel? How about you actually try to insult, how about you actually go and get your facts and try to argue with me based on logic instead of emotion? Okay, so let me go ahead and I might just read my points because I'm really better at writing than I am at just freestyling. If I'm reading whatever, I might look up and elaborate. I don't care, but I wrote down most of my points and I think they were well spelled out, so I'm just going to do that. So basically, without the scramble for Africa, Europe and USA would not be what it is today. And that was one of the things that I tried to say in my last video, but I didn't make that point clearly enough. But what I really want to hit home for you guys is that without the scramble for Africa, America, USA, and Europe would not be what it is today. The fact of the matter is that slaves and those colonized countries are what built your countries for you. All of you people who want to jump to the defense and try to tell me that Africa was backwards and India was backwards and whoever else you colonized was backwards. Well, if they were so backwards, then how were they able to build your countries for you? If slaves were so backwards, how were they able to do all that stuff? If they're so backwards, then how are they some of the most highest performing immigrants in your nations today? Okay, sometimes more higher performing than your own children. So how are they so backwards? And I'm going to actually explain to you why what actually happened a little bit in the future. And actually that makes my stomach turn to even say it, because I don't even want to attack you as a person. I just want to state the facts. I'm not interested in in demeaning you as a person, in any of you. I am not interested in that. I don't gain anything from making anybody feel bad. I'm just trying to make a point. I'm trying to help you understand what happened in history. And the side effects and the ripple effects that are happening today. And you guys want to get on my channel and get all in your feelings and get upset and get mad because you think this is a liberal versus Republican versus conservative versus Democrat type thing. This is not about any of that. I don't care about your politics. Your politics have nothing to do with me. Those are definitions that have nothing to do with me. I didn't come up with liberal. I didn't come up with Democrat. I didn't come up with conservative. I didn't come up with Republican. None of that has nothing to do with me, my ancestors, or anything. So don't come on my channel and try to box me into any of your understandings of what this is. This has nothing to do with that. And the fact that you're bringing that stuff up is just more of the fact that you can't think creatively. What I'm telling you is that that video is very Eurocentric in its thinking, and the way you're attacking me is more of your Eurocentric thinking that is making it difficult for you to see the arguments that I'm trying to make. So if you can't hear anything that I'm saying, then you might as well just stop watching this video now, because nothing I'm going to say is going to make sense to you. So anyway, let me continue. So slaves and the colonized built the countries for you, even inventing things that your lazy thieving ancestors put their names on. I know I said I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but the fact of the matter is that any ancestors, which I know some white people actually did invent some things, but there are some of your ancestors who actually did take stuff like Eli Whitney and the cotton gin. He didn't invent that. He just patented it. It was actually a slave, a black man, who invented the cotton gin. Eli Whitney saw the cotton gin and was like, yoink, I'm going to go and patent that because black people can't own shit. So, and it happened a lot. So things like that happened a lot. So let's be honest about things. There were a lot of intelligent blacks and Africans and Indians and all the people you colonized. There were a lot of intelligent ones of them, but they were not allowed to thrive. And also by Alternative History Hub's own admission, without the scramble for Africa, the world wars probably would not have happened. Since most technological development happens during wartime, Europe would not be advanced technologically in many ways, and neither would the USA. So as a result, we can say that that this would level the playing field significantly if that's the standard. If technology is the standard that we're judging, if we're judging all of this by, then the fact that there were no wars, the two world wars didn't happen, would mean that a lot of the technological advancements didn't happen. So without the world wars, without slavery, Africa and Europe would not have been developed to the extent that they would be. So Europe and Africa would be relatively the same in terms of their cultural, their like technological makeup. You probably don't see it because you're so used to what is now, but really not everyone in Europe was a genius inventor. The people you see in the history books are like handfuls. There was a lot of rural areas. Even as recent as the 1920s, there were still a lot of rural areas all over Europe and America. So it's just that they were white rural areas as opposed to black rural areas. So technologically, I mean, the spread of all those things, the industrial age, all that kind of stuff, were things that were propelled by, other factors, which Africa played a big part in. So let us understand that without Africa, without slavery and Africa and black people in general, all these things would not have happened. Those things were not considered in Alternative History Hub's version, in his telling of the stuff. So I want you to understand where my reasoning came from in criticizing him. It came from seeing his history being told. He wasn't very creative in the way he told his story. It was so Eurocentric. It was so stuck in the way things are, and it was just so. Anyway, let me just continue making my point. So Alternate History Hub kept talking about how here's another thing. Alternate History Hub kept talking about how uneducated Africans were, and would be on this new timeline, which is a big fat lie. So my argument is that Africans would be actually ahead of where they are now, were it not for colonization. Reason being, I believe that forced indoctrination into a language system that was not their own is actually a huge reason that Africa has been held back. Think about it. Like, science is built on languages. It's built on abstract thinking. It's built on taking words, taking small concepts, and then thinking about them abstractly, and then giving them names, giving them, turning them into abstract thought. And that's a huge thing in language. That's a huge, like, a skill that you need your brain, the language areas of your brain for. So if you go to, and I'm African, I have a lot of African, I grew up, I know a lot of people who speak African languages. A lot of African languages have been, like, the growth of the language, not only the propagation of the language and the growth of the language, but even, like, not even only the propagation of the language and the use of the language, but also the growth of the language has been stunted because of the use of European languages like English, French, and Spanish, because everybody is learning the European languages. So these languages are not growing. What is growing a language? What grows a language is technology. So when you're using technology, you adapt new words to that new technology. And that happens through, and that also helps with creative thinking. So if you think about it, how many African languages do you know that have physics concepts and calculus concepts and biology concepts and chemistry concepts in their languages? That's not to say that these things could not happen. But the period of time when the Europeans, Newton, Galileo, all these people were over here thinking about these concepts in their languages, Africa was being colonized by their people, working hard for those countries, trying to helping those countries learning their language, you see what I'm saying? They didn't have that opportunity. This is the connection. This is what was missing. So now the African language has been stunted. All the African language, I said the African language, excuse me, that was really ignorant of me. African languages are stunted as a result, and many of them aren't being used to communicate these types of concepts. So to say that Africans were uneducated and would be uneducated in an alternate timeline in which Europeans had not colonized them is missing that entire picture. And that picture that's being missed because of his Eurocentric thinking, Eurocentric tendency to believe that white is just, we didn't do anything wrong. It's not our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. Instead of allowing yourself to remember that you're human. You're a human being. All humans have flaws. You did something wrong. We're not perfect either, but we're all human. And your ancestors did something wrong. Can you admit that? I mean, that's the problem, that you guys cannot admit that your ancestors did something wrong. That's your problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem. And you came to my YouTube channel to troll me because you're insecure and you can't admit that your ancestors did something wrong. And that's the beginning of the story. So let me finish my thought. How can they think creatively and innovatively about science and technology without the privilege of fluency of higher level language comprehension and expression? It's colonization that made it hard for this to develop. So that's that point. Last few points. Alternate History Hub is not innocent of bias. And if you can't see that his video is not an alternate history at all, but an exact duplicate of current history, then you're being brainwashed. Then you've been brainwashed too. There is no flexibility in thinking when he made this video. White people are one-track minded when yes, I said white people, I use a general term because I haven't seen anybody who has been outside of this box category yet. I just haven't seen anybody outside of this category. The media, white people I've interacted with in real life, people at church, I've never seen any white person who's fallen outside of this category. I could be wrong, and I will admit it. But let me say this. White people are one-track minded when it comes to white relationship with black people and Africans. They cannot see any other way. That's why history keeps repeating. You are not coming up with any new stuff. It's getting old. Why can't you imagine a history where Europe doesn't conquer Africa? Even when you do, you can't resist how unlikely it is. Come on. It's like whatever. Okay, so that was my comments. Let me respond to yours. I have 37 comments. Apparently this video is like Cancer and Maskey, who commented 40 minutes ago. And it clearly, this person is hiding behind a mask says that his IQ dropped harder than, okay, that's nonsense. Okay, Alternate History Hub wants to be the nice guy and says that Cody guy seems like a real doofus. Okay. And then somebody said, yeah, he's gay. Is Namba gay? Wow, Brian of America. Wow, I wonder how you found this. You mean the God of Emperor? What a dork. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I know. Right? What a doofus. And my God, what a handsome voice. If I could, I would marry that guy. Okay, so I see nothing here worth even commenting on. Compares you to medicine that causes anal leakage and death. Yeah, I did. You don't have a point though. Your head is so far up your ass that it came back out, and the other end. Cody is not a white supremacist in any way, and the fact that you created a 41-minute video in response to an 8-minute video effing amazes me as to how far you can spin a narrative. I clearly didn't do that great of a job, and I admit that in this video. Oh, Cody is Alternate History Hub. So he was being sarcastic. I was like, who is this Cody guy, and why is Alternate History Hub trying to defend me against him? Wow. So Alternate History Hub, you're the one who brought all these people here. You're a class act. You are a class freaking act. That shows exactly who you are. Okay, I see you. Okay. And Jeffy says ooga booga. Thank you. Shows exactly who your fans are as well. She just another a-hole of the network feminazi frequency. That's a label that doesn't know me at all. Seems like you are the one without facts. Also, the video is supposed to be about alternate history, not the real stuff. So of course he didn't talk about real life, which you rant about at the start. Not quite sure that is a logical. I know that's not a logical argument because he's making an alternate history. So if he's making it about alternate history, it has to be based on the trajectory of what would happen if alternate things happen. So it's not based on complete fiction. It's not based on complete fantasy. It's based on something that something happening. And you have to be able to predict the trajectory of something that happened. So if something happens, you predict its trajectory based on the fact that it actually has a direction in which it is capable of going. So it's just that you change its trajectory, like by changing its trajectory a bit, and then you can see the way it goes. But he changed the trajectory, and yet it still ended up in the same spot, and that's the issue I had with his video. But you don't make a point. I do. So shut up. Great point, Namba gay? I don't know what that is. I don't know who this person is. Then Maskey says she has no clue. No one's making any great points, so I don't know what anyone's saying here. I wonder who are you, dang. These people are speaking in code. Excuse me, since you disagreed with her, you are obviously an alt-right white supremacist Nazi. Fall of Icarus, you don't need to defend me. I'm not calling anybody a Nazi. LOL, this is so stupid. Okay, great job. Cody, Alternate History Hub was one of the few. Okay, this one was, I read this one before. This comment actually was is worth reading. It's actually a good defense, but it's still nonsense. So Cody, Alternate History Hub was one of the few larger YouTube channels that refused to give an opinion during the election and still doesn't publicly say whether he is conservative or liberal. I don't think I've said whether I'm conservative or liberal either, but okay. The fact that you had to make a 40-minute long video in response to just a fun 8-minute educational video, it wasn't fun for me, is sad and pathetic. He is not at all racist, even remotely a white supremacist. I never said the words white supremacist, I don't think. You libtards, okay, they assume I'm a liberal, okay? Well, first of all, you know what? Let me just clear this up right now. I don't fit into any of your labels. I don't fit into any of your labels. That's your language. Your language, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, that's your language, not mine. So You can throw those words at me all you want. You're talking to yourself. You libtards try so hard to push the idiotic agenda that everyone is effing racist or white supremacist that you start making things up or taking things completely out of context. I think you're the one taking things out of context. I'm not going to bother wasting my time trying to argue. You're doing that right now. Any of the retarded points you make in this video, but just know you tiny little channel is never going to go anywhere. All right, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Especially when you're pulling BS like this. Okay, I know this might seem like an overreaction, you think, to some, but I've just about had it up to here with these idiotic liberals. You've made it clear that you're not a liberal. There are so effing few that make any gosh darn. Okay, so you're using some curse words and you're conservative. I'm not sure how you're representing yourself. This decent points that it just destroys liberalism. Alternative History Hub is well, maybe she's something else, one other label that they make up for themselves. People like to gotta go find even the smallest effing issue and blow it out of proportion. It's people like you that give Africans a bad name. Love you, BTW Cody. Well, I mean, if I'm giving Africans a bad name, I don't know what Cody was doing, because he kind of said that Africa is in a sorry state. So, yeah, I don't know if you even thought Africa had a good name for you to tell me that I'm giving Africa a bad name. So Jeff Samuel says he's a Repub. Check his Twitter. He hates talking politics, though. All right. Thank you, Jeff, for clearing that up. No, sincerely. Thanks, Jeff. Lord Biteman, I'm so confused. Lady, truer words were never spoken. I think Lord Biteman is agreeing with me, but I'm not sure. He didn't say exactly who Lady is. Peter says Namba is gay. Here is to my Discord friends. Also, Africa should be colonized again for the LOLs. I don't know who Peter German is, but somebody needs to put him in. Namba gay? What is Namba gay? I don't know. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to my page. Thanks for giving me 51 thumbs down. Thank you, like, seriously, for the people who gave me 5 thumbs up. That means you guys have sense in your brains. And then 367 views. Thanks, guys, for giving me the most views of any video that I've ever had. That's it. I guess I'm going to publish this video now, and hopefully we'll see what happens. I have no more time for you guys. I think this is the last video I'm going to make on this topic. I don't really have strength for any more. But appreciate you coming. Never taking these videos down. This was fun. Bye.